Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted in YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. We continue on our topic, the significance of a bona fide spiritual master and the guru-disciple relationship. And today being the end of the second last day of the, or is it the last day?
Last day.
Today is the 31st.
Yes.
Okay, today is the last day of the English calendar. Remember, this is not the new year of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma has its own new years. The English calendar is calculated for a certain convenience, and the calendar year of Sanatana Dharma is calculated accurately. It's not calculated for a convenience. It is cyclic. You will note there are fewer days in February, so you taking that into consideration mathematically, you cannot have your years consecutively on the 31st of December being the last day, if you understand and if you do it mathematically. But in Sanatana Dharma, we calculate our years cyclically, and in terms of cyclic calculations, it is mathematically correct. So I wanted to bring this into its perspective so that we can understand that I will be wishing you a happy 2024 according to the English year, because we're living and we're using the English calculations and the English year universally. All of you understand? So we need to, especially when you have in your last satsang of the year, then you need to take stock of how long you've been in the satsang, in what condition you landed here, and how this satsang, if in any way it did help you, how it helped you. For me specifically, I'm a practical guru. If the satsang has no direct benefication to you, either materially or specific or spiritually, then I don't think you should waste your time coming to satsang. If you come to this satsang specifically, it must have a direct benefication. It must assist you directly. This is not a casino where you come hoping one day God will change you. When you come to this satsang, your frequency must be right. So it can connect to my frequency, and then when two frequencies connect, there is a product. Is there not? So this satsang and any other bona fide satsang in the world must have direct benefication. All of you understand. So today when you go home, it's a day to reflect. So I've been, in my life, I went to many meetings, universal meetings that were held by the AA, and now currently I'm going with Sherwin for NA meetings. Both these meetings are of the same spiritual caliber. It is to de-addict. It is to de-addict. But this is a very small, drug and alcohol is a very small social problem compared to society as a whole. Because society as a whole has to de-addict from the numerous addictions that has been bestowed upon you as per your previous life and your destiny. So what are these addictions? What are your addictions? Yes, it's not only alcohol, it's not only drugs, it's not only gambling. These are three known addictions which we have identified as external addictions, and groupings of people have got together from all races, all creeds, all cultures. They sit in these meetings, in these sectarian meetings. If you're a drug addict, you sit in a drug meeting and you identify what your drug problems were, or what your alcoholic problems are, or what your gambling problems are. These are sectarian. But in society, there's greater addictions. There's greater addictions, and this is why you go to church, you go to mosque, you come to the ashram, so that you can de-addict. And the common addictions are anger, hatred, jealousy, envy, arrogance, gossiping. Gossiping is a very, very big addiction, and it's a killer of society. False propaganda, gossiping. What's the difference between gossiping and false propaganda? Creating animosity between people, creating hatred between people. When you go home, you're supposed to spend a few hours understanding the discourse of the Guru. Not to talk about other devotees and what other devotees are doing and how this devotee was dressed and what that devotee said, what the other devotee said. That's gossiping. You negate. You come to this ashram, and when you go home and you gossip, you cancelled your trip to the ashram. Yes? You understand? When you go home, the only gossip must be my discourse. Legal gossip. I'm giving you license to gossip about my discourse. That's the only gossiping. No other gossiping. When you come here as an individual. Each person must come here for their own spirituality. Even if you come in a family, but when you land in the ashram, I don't see you as a family, I see you as an individual. To grow spiritually, you have to de-addict. To grow spiritually, you have to de-addict. And I've done about 19 meetings so far with Sherwin. And in all these meetings from around, I'm going around Durban, so that I can bring this practical solution to you. I can experience it, and I can bring this practical solution to you. So these meetings, those meetings that are held there are closed meetings, but in general, the number one criteria to remain sober from your addiction, whatever your addiction is. It don't have to be drug, alcohol. It can be gossiping, it can be backbiting, it can be jealousy, it can be envious. All these are addictions. Yes? There's no difference between these addictions and that consumable addictions. All these addictions consume you. Yes? So the number one criteria is that I learned in these 19 days is that you must be honest. You must be honest. And these people who stop being honest fall back into the addiction. So honesty is the number one criteria, and hand in glove with this honesty is everybody believes in a higher power. Everybody believes in a higher power. And there's different races, different religions, but the commonality of one higher power is prevalent in all these meetings. All these meetings. Every one of them, whether it's a black speaking, a white speaking, a colored speaking, an Indian speaking, a Hindu speaking, a Muslim speaking, a Christian speaking, or a Jew speaking, or any other religion. Honesty and surrender to a higher power. This is oneness. I'm witnessing oneness in these 19 days. I'm witnessing practically oneness in action. Because people are coming there with a common disease from various religions, from various cultures, from various traditions. They're coming there with a common disease. And to conquer the common disease, they need a common Supreme Lord. You understand? They need a common Supreme Lord. So in fact, if you have to do an analysis, everyone that's in recovery from gambling, from alcohol, and from drugs, who are currently in recovery, are more spiritual than people that go to ashrams, people that go to churches, and people that go to mosques, and people that go to synagogues. Why I'm saying this? Because to retain their spirituality, they don't only come to the ashram or the mosque or the church or the synagogue to be honest in that 1 hour. They have to be honest 24 hours a day. They have to be honest 24 hours a day. They have to be honest in the meeting, and the 23 hours outside the meeting, they have to be honest. They have to be fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord in that 1 hour in the meeting and the 23 hours outside the meeting. Do you understand? Total surrender 24 out of 24. Total honesty 24 out of 24. Do you understand? Now you agree with me that they are recovering. These addicts that are in recovery are more spiritual than the people that's following religion. Do you agree with me now? Because the minute they leave God's hand and the minute they lose their honesty, they fall. So they talk about their experiences, how as soon as they left God's hand and as soon as they left the honesty, they fell. So this is why we ask you to come to ashram. We bring you to ashram specifically in Sanatana Dharma to de-addict. To de-addict. So if you got an anger problem, anger is an addiction. Anger is an addiction. Arrogance is an addiction. Jealousy is an addiction. Envy is an addiction. Like these people in these programs, they have to go home and they have to write their character defects. To survive and to remain in sobriety, you have to write your character defects. I'm giving you this practical example, and I'm sitting in these meetings daily. Even this morning, at between 8 and 9, I was in a meeting. So these are practical people with practical success in all aspects of their life. In all aspects of their life. So I suggest that you give yourself at least half an hour today. How long? Half an hour. And write down your defects honestly. Yamita, don't ask your mother what your defects are. Sit down. Sit down, because when somebody else tells you what your defects are, it doesn't get uprooted. It doesn't get uprooted. You need to admit to your own defect. You have to admit to your own defect. You write there on top, my defects of 2023. And half an hour, I think, is enough for most of you. Those of you that need an hour, give yourself an hour. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Give yourself an hour. If you want progress in life, I told you, you should have met me between 2013 and 2018. Freebies. After 2018, freebies stop. That means you have to earn. You have to earn. And you're going to feel good. You're going to tell me next year, you are going to feel good. Because these defects that you have messes up your mind. Messes up your mind. All these defects are connected to the mind. And a messed up mind is a messed up personality. And you carry this mess over life after life after life. It's not only in this lifetime. If you have a messed mind in this lifetime, then you would have had to have a messed mind in your last lifetime. And if you don't fix it up, you will have a messed mind in your next lifetime. From a marigold seed, you'll only get, you know that the seed was a flower, then it became a seed, and if you plant it, it will become a flower again. And that's how your character is. Whatever character, whatever you are suffering or whatever you are enjoying in this lifetime, you got it from your previous lifetime, you experiencing it in this lifetime, and it's going to continue in your next lifetime. You understand? So this anger that you have is connected to your mind. This hatred that you have is connected to your mind. This jealousy that you have is connected to your mind. Every addiction, it is not only connected, it has been stored in your mind since time immemorial. So we need to be practical. We need to be practical. As I said, I'm not a head-touching miracle guru. I'm not a head-touching miracle guru. I'm a practical guru. You understand? Like a mechanic will touch your bonnet, your car will get fixed. You have to open the bonnet and see what's there. Alright? And when I open these bonnets, what I'm seeing? Blown head gaskets, oil spilled all over, corroded battery terminals. Some engines got no oil, some engines no water, some engines no water. Yes? So when you come to satsang, you come for a diagnostic. You come for a diagnostic. You come to evaluate who you are. You come to evaluate your experiences of your life, and you come to negotiate and fix up those parts of your life that has been damaged. That is why you come to satsang. There are 4 types of people that are considered bona fide if you come to satsang. 4 types. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. You come to satsang because you have a lack of economic development. If you need economic development, you are considered bona fide to come to satsang. If you have ill health, if your health is not good, you are considered bona fide in attending a satsang. If you come to satsang because you have an inquiring mind, you are considered bona fide. And if you come to satsang just to get knowledge, you are considered bona fide. When your economic situation and your health situation has been remedied, then you have to come to the next level. And the next level is making an inquiry. And what is the inquiry you make? Who am I? That's the inquiry you make. Who am I? Sounds like a silly question, Jiten. Everyone knows you are Jiten. Why should you be asking who you are? Yes? Sounds like a silly question, but you need to go deeper than the name Jiten. You need to go deeper than the name Jiten. Because you'll understand, Jiten Bhai, that when somebody passes on, either in your family or your friend or somebody that you knew, the minute the person passes on, automatically you stop using the name. Yes? When you phone, will you say what time Jiten's body is coming, or will you say what time the body is coming? Naturally, what do you do? Do you say what time is Jiten Bhai's funeral, or what time is the funeral? Immediately after the person has passed on, we stop using the person's name, isn't? And this is why I'm saying you have to go deeper and beyond that name. You have to go deeper and beyond that name to find out who is that I that continues to exist when the name ceases. Who is that I that continues to exist when the name ceases? How do we know that that I continues to exist? In Sanatana Dharma specifically, how do we know? Because we perform certain rituals. Do we perform certain rituals? That I, which was named Jiten, when we start our rituals, what do we identify that name would now? How do we call that name? What name do we give to that personality whose name ceased to exist? We use the term soul. We do our 3 days, our 10 days, our 13-day rituals for the soul. Yes or no? We don't we immediately identify that personality whose name ceased to exist as the soul? Yes? How else can we test this whilst you are alive? How can we test the soul theory whilst you are alive scientifically? How can we test the soul? How do we know that there is a soul resident in our body? Has God given us experiments to understand that there is an entity called the soul that's living in this body? Jiten, it's your day today. Do we have daily experiments? Does God show us daily that in this human body is resident a soul? So let's test it. At the moment, everyone seated here, including myself, we are in a state of consciousness. Yes? We are in the awake state of consciousness. Yes? Because we are all awake. Some of you are here but not here. But you still awake. You still awake. Then the next state of consciousness is a dream state. Has anyone not experienced a dream? Has anyone not experienced a dream in this satsang? Now let's analyze this state. Let us analyze this state. In the awake state, your mind is recording all the events through the senses. Your mind is recording all the events in the awake state through the senses. Alright? In the dream state, where is the mind? Mind is
subconscious.
Who is watching the dream? Because somebody has to watch that, some entity has to watch that dream, yes or no? The mind is asleep, you are asleep, the physical body is asleep. Which entity is awake watching that movie of the dream? Is the soul. So this is scientific proof that the soul is existing in the dream state. Yes? Because the soul is watching the dream. Have you all entered a dreamless state any time in your life? Where you just fell off to sleep and you got up next morning fully invigorated, and you know you had no dream. It's called a deep sleep state, where you know you did not dream. Have you all experienced that? Deep sleep state. Who witnessed that you did not dream? The soul. Who witnessed you did not dream? So the soul witnessed your dreams, and the soul also witnessed that you did not dream. So you knocked out. If we observe in you from outside, you as this body is knocked out cold. Yes or no? When you see somebody sleeping and you shake them, they get up from a deep sleep state or a dream state. Yes? So the body has been switched off. There was a dream that took place, a movie that was watched, and also a movie that was not watched by an entity that is not you, the physical body. And that is what proves, and God gives you this proof every day, that you are not this body, you are the soul. I want to come back to my topic of de-addiction. I want to come back to the topic of de-addiction. De-addicting from vices. De-addicting from vices. So, just to round up again, your vices are alcohol, drugs, mineral, coke. How many of you are addicted to coke? Not cocaine. Coke, the black coke. Cigarettes. Meat. How many of you are addicted to meat? Just not any meat. Rotten meat. Not rotten, R-O-T-T-E-N, rotting, R-O-T-T-I-N-G. Meat, the minute the soul leaves the sheep, or the soul leaves the hard cooking chicken. The minute the soul leaves the hard cooking chicken, leaves the sheep, leaves the fish, what happens to that meat, the body? What happens to that body? It starts decomposing. The minute the soul leaves, it starts decomposing. Decomposing is a decent word for rotting. Decomposing is a decent word for rotting. And you can test it. Go home today and pull out a parcel of meat for tonight's supper. and test it yourself. If you pull out a parcel of meat from the fridge and leave it to thaw naturally on your table, what will happen to that meat? Its rot was arrested when it was placed in the freezer. When you take it out of that freezer, what happens to its state of decomposition? It starts as soon as it is brought into this room temperature, it starts decaying. And if you go to the meat and take a deep breath every hour, how will you feel? I'm being practical, and I'm being scientific, and I'm being honest. As that meat is lying there, and as you smell it, I can see some faces not looking right. Guru shouldn't be saying this in the ashram, but it's the absolute truth, and we have to look at the truth from all its dimensions, yes? So what happens to that meat? Chitan, your day today, my boy. If you smell, you'll smell it in different phases of rot. And what do we do to expedite the rot? No, we cook it. So from 28 degrees room temperature, we bring it to 100 degrees. So what happened to the rotting process? And then what we do to camouflage that rotten meat? You put ginger, you put garlic, you put masala, and you say, hey, Shanti cooked a top mutton curry. Isn't? But let's be practical and scientific. And do it today, everybody. Everybody that are eating meat, do it today. Take your one piece, whether it's chicken or meat, and just boil it. Just don't use any salt, don't use any spices. Just boil the meat, take it out in a plate, cut it up into nice pieces, take your fork and eat. What you going to taste? Hey, again I'm seeing those funny faces. What you going to taste? That is the real taste of meat. In its natural form, what you boiled, that is the natural taste of meat, but you camouflage it, you fake it, and you put your spices. Those same spices, if you put it on potato and cook the potato, you're going to get the same taste. Yes? The taste will be the same, only the texture of the meat. You eat meat for its texture. Yes? All of you understand? And you camouflage it with spices, but it's rotting all the time. It's rotting all the time. So you can try this with the meat. Jay, you're so sad, but it's the truth. Boil that meat and take a deep breath. And boil a potato and take a deep breath. When you take a breath of that meat, do you feel bilious? Why do we have this feeling of biliousness? When God created this technology, this is a technology, this human body is a technology. When God created this technology, Why did he make certain smells unpalatable? Why are certain smells unpalatable? What it tells you. What it tells you. That smell, if it's not right, what it tells you. It's not good for you. It's not logical, practical, sensible. Because when that rot enters your stomach, when that rotten meat enters your stomach, what's the temperature in your stomach? Anyone know? Temperature in your stomach that has to break down this meat now? $37, quite hot. Huh? What happens to all the illness that has been retained in the cells of these animals? The cancerous cells of these animals, when you ingest, what happens? Some of it is discarded through defecation and the rest is assimilated in your system. Yes or no? So there's a scientific reason why in Sanatana Dharma meat is prohibited, not a religious reason. Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. It is a scientific approach on how this technology, which is called a human body, should be maintained. Okay? So this addiction for meat is a huge addiction. I'm not sitting here as a saint today. I think I loved meat more than all of you seated here today. Breakfast, lunch and supper. And not just any meat. If you gave me fried eggs and tin fish, I was very depressed. I was very, very depressed. If I saw tin fish, Mataji cooked tin fish, extremely depressed. If I saw eggs boiling in the pot, huge depression. Okay? So I'm sitting here and I'm discoursing through experience, practical experience. All of you understand? I'm not judging you, but I'm appealing to you that I've walked down that road and I know what the consequences are. And I'm not saying stop tomorrow. I'm not saying stop tomorrow. But give it a thought. Give it a thought. Okay? Because Guru has wonderful ways of reminding you. So tonight, the first piece of meat to enter your mouth, remember I'm saying it is in a state of decomposition. It is in a continuous state of decomposition. So you can put it in your mouth, you can grind it, you can taste it, and you can ingest it, but you are ingesting, and then you must have a picture of the meat on its own. Mentally make that meat nude. Take away all the spices, take away everything from the meat. Cyril is a vegetarian, but you can talk at home, you know. You have authority. All right? Explain to your son, Avir. Okay? So, it would not be right of me if I do not give you this information. It would not be right of me. I'm expounding Sanatana Dharma as it is. As it is, but I won't go outside of the ashram and ask other people that's practicing eating meat to stop. That's not my job. That's not my job. But if you're in my congregation and if I don't ask you, and I'm not saying do it tomorrow, when you get that bilious feeling, it means it's time to stop. And I'm not saying direct meat from the pot. That meat which you camouflage, which you spiced, which you put your ginger, garlic, when you get that bilious feeling, it's your body telling you through your spirituality that it is now time to stop meat. All of you understand? So again, I'm saying you need to take a pen, you need to take a paper, and you need to write down your defects. Write down your defects. If you got a anger problem, write down there, I have identified that I have an anger problem. Write it down. This is for you. This is for you. You don't have to show the next person. This is not for anybody else. This is only for you. If you have arrogance, write down there, I have arrogance. If you have hatred, write there, I have hatred. You don't have to have hatred for 20 people. If you have one hate for one person, your reservoir of hatred is still full. Hatred can be quantified in one capacity only. You understand? If you hate one person, your reservoir of hatred quantifies the same. You don't have to hate 100 people to say I have hatred. If you are jealous of Abdul next door because he got a new BMW, write there, I am jealous of Abdul next door because he has a new BMW. Then come to the Guru and ask the Guru how I can fix the problem. Then I'll tell you it's easy. Abdul goes to mosque 5 times a day. He has earned that BMW. You come to satsang whenever you come, or maybe once a week. You have not earned that BMW. Guru got all the answers in the world. All of you understand? Also, I want to say again, the greatest killer in society is gossiping, backbiting, discussing other people, even in your family. Don't discuss other people, because you take in their negativities. You understand? Everything is about energy. I'm seated here today and I'm talking to you. Energy is being released from my mouth in the form of a frequency called sound. Yes? That energy, that frequency called sound is entering your eardrums, is it not? Am I not transferring energy from myself into you? As I'm talking to you, sound energy in the form of frequency is entering your eardrums. You identifying the language I'm speaking in, aren't you? How are you identifying my language and my words? How are my words having an impact to you? how is this word having an impact in you? It's because it entered your eardrums, did it not? And it identified itself with the word that you know already, yes or no? So it's a transference of energy from me to you. Everything you hear me saying, I'm transferring energy in the form of words, yes or no? And those words are getting assimilated in your system, is it not? Aren't you using your mind and your brain to identify what I'm saying through the sound that entered your ear? So there's a continuous transference of energy between me and you. You can hear it in the sound form. And when you gossip about somebody, when you talk ill about somebody, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you talk good about somebody, what type of energy is that? If you talk bad about somebody, what type of energy is that? Negative. If you have gratitude for people, what type of energy is that? If you don't have gratitude for people, what type of energy is that? Both those systems, who does it affect? Yourself, yes? So if you want a healthy being, mentally, physically, and psychologically, forget about people's defects. Forget about people's defects. If you want to worry about people's defects, come to me, I'll ordain you, I'll make you a guru. Then you are legal to worry about people's defects. All right? Whoever was worried about the next person's defects, it's troubling you, come to me. Leave meat, leave alcohol, leave cigarettes, leave everything, come to me, surrender to me, I'll make you a guru. Then you can fix people's defects. But if you're not a guru, don't worry about people's defects. If somebody did 8 wrongs to you, discard that 8 wrongs. Look at the 2 rights that person did to you and give gratitude for the 2 rights. When you give gratitude for the 2 rights of that person, what has happened to the positive energy in yourself? What happens to the positive energy in yourself? So this is my 2024 message to you. I want to see you prosperous. As I said, I'm a practical guru. I'm not a head-touching miracle guru. I'm a practical guru. And I want to see you practically become prosperous. That is why you come to satsang. You come to satsang to become prosperous, but in order to be prosperous, you have to negate your character defects. You have to negate your character defects. You can't have a bad temper at home. Come to satsang and be quiet. And as soon as you go back home, that bad temper is there again. You wasted your time, you wasted the Guru's time, you wasted God's time, you wasted your fuel. That is not why you come to satsang. But if you had a bad temper at home, you came to satsang, you listened to the Guru, you went back home, you had a temper, but if it was not in the same reading, you calm down, it's good. I'm not saying go home now and change. No one has the capacity to go home today and change, do 180 degrees. It's impossible. But whatever your problems are, every time you come to satsang, if you diminish it by 1% or 2%, if you get angry, if you was upset, whilst being upset, remember what the Guru said and calm down, and calm down, and calm down. Then it means it's working. It means it's working. Do you agree with me, all of you? You came here for me to give you a gift. When you come to the Guru gives you a gift of wisdom to become a better person. Whatever the Guru tells you is for you. It's for your upliftment, it's for your family's upliftment, it's for the upliftment of your children. All of you understand? So 2024, grab a pen and be honest. Grab a pen and be honest. Write on the top of the page, please help me to be honest when I am listing my character defects. And you don't have to show your partner, you don't have to show your brothers, you don't have to show your sisters. They must not see your list. That list is for you. They must see your change. They must see your change. And it's a gradual, it's a process, it's gradual. If you got a reservoir of anger, if you got a reservoir of anger in you, it's not there from this lifetime. It's there from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. It's not going to take you 1 second to remove it. But I also want you to understand, that if a cave was in a darkness for 20,000 years, if a cave was in darkness for 20,000 years, and if you take your cell phone and flash the light in the cave, it won't take you 20,000 years for the cave to be lit. Will it take you? Just the amount of time it took you to put the light on your cell phone on. So these discourses that I give is for your enlightenment. Do not be depressed when I say you carry in these vices since creation. Because like that cave, as long as you are ignorant, you will continue in the vices. But as soon as you are enlightened, you can start practicing the virtues that are opposite those vices. Are there any questions? Did we leave out anything? Then the last part that I hear in these meetings is service. And in Sanatana Dharma we call service seva. And Lord Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has stated that whatever actions you perform, you must not perform that action with attachment. Whatever actions you perform, even in normal work, if you working for somebody, go and do that work to the best of your ability. Don't scale it according to what you're getting paid. Don't scale it to what you're getting paid. Every day, whatever work you got, go do it 100% and leave the results to the Supreme Lord. Leave the results to the Supreme Lord. I'm just giving an example. If you're a baker in a company, you bake for a company, go and bake those cakes and the bread and everything as if you are baking it for God. It doesn't matter you get 200 Rand a week. It does not matter you get 200 Rand a week, because you're not associating your salary or your wages to the performance of your duty. You are employed, you are duty bound, go and give it your best. And God will one day give you your own bakery. God will one day give you your own bakery. You understand? So in these meetings I saw and I picked up that when these people are in the process of de-addiction and they stopped their service, so at these centers there are various service and in society there is service, as soon as they stopped their service, they started feeling miserable. They started feeling miserable because service, or as we say, seva, is very, very important on your road to spirituality. Service or seva, very, very important on your road to spirituality. And I said the greatest example in service is the Muslim religion. Yes or no? And they are successful. You're going to find very, very few Muslims who's not making a good living. And the reason they're living well is because an X amount of their salary goes to seva. Whatever they earn or whatever the business is, it goes to seva, humanitarian aid for those that are in need. And to sum up, I want to thank all of you, whoever could make it last week. Some of you worked throughout, some of you a few hours. It does not matter from my perspective, is that the fact that you came and you served. There were, I think, between 80 to 100 children whose face lit up. They you can find them on my page. I see they're on TikTok as well. But you can see the happiness. Now, you can't buy that happiness that you see on these children's face with any amount of money. And those of you that stayed up until the end, so many disciplined children, they are in hardship. Today I don't know what they are going to be eating, you understand? But that few hours they were here, their faces were glowing. And for you to have been involved, to give them that glow, is what seva is about. Seva is when you forget about yourself. When you forget about yourself, you forget about your own problems, you forget about your own family problems, and you go and fix up some other family in need. You think God is not taking cognizance of that? And that is why seva in Sanatana Dharma is very, very important. Sanatana Dharma can be summed up as follows: satsang, simran, and seva. Satsang is what you're doing now, simran is meditation, and seva is what we do. As an ashram, from your side, from your perspective, these children that you see, we have adopted them, they belong to the ashram. Every big function I make sure I bring them through. We call them angels. We don't call them disadvantaged kids. It's a negative phrase. We call them angels. Angels is a positive phrase. And we've had success. 2016 to now, all those people that came through this ashram, everybody has been successful. And one of these angels was accepted in the Oprah Winfrey School here in South Africa. So the reports, the spotting, everything changes when we do seva wholeheartedly. All right? So I personally, as a guru, on your behalf, has integrated Christianity, Islam, Judaism, coloreds, blacks, whites. I go out and I brought all of them together, and I go to their places of worship, and I'm bringing social cohesion, I'm bringing in religious cohesion, I'm bringing in political cohesion, I'm bringing all these entities together so that you, as my devotees, can benefit from this platform that we have created. In fact, in South Africa, we are the most active ashram that's involved in networking, in all these social cohesion, political cohesion, racial cohesion, and religious cohesion. We work very, very hard. And lastly, any one of you suffering from diabetes? Well, I practically conquered that as well. Exercise, half an hour of exercises. Mango leaf, boil a mango leaf, about 6 or 7 mango leaves, throw in some ginger, 5 or 6 cloves, moringa powder, you can find moringa powder, mix it, boil it for 10 minutes and let it, keep it overnight. Next morning, as soon as you wash your face, have that glass, and after 1 hour you can have your breakfast. In that 1 hour, do your exercises. So at the age of 61, I'm doing low intensity exercises, and I'm not taking any medication. My doctor here is not too happy. Dr. Singh won't be very happy. So I'm not taking any medication, and you can see I'm as fit as a fiddle. Remember a month ago, I could barely speak. So use this treatment. Guru used it himself. It's working. I didn't touch my head with any magic. I'm being practical. I'm taking things that are in the Vedas, products that are from the Vedas. I'm using it successfully, and I'm doing low intensity exercises. I can't get muscles now. I'm 61, but I can keep these muscles alive. All right? You need to do exercises. You need the heart to pump. You do these half an hour exercises. You need to do squats, because the biggest muscle is on your thighs. So you do 25, 30 squats. Your muscles become like a sponge, and it can start absorbing the sugar from your blood. All right? And burning it out. So diabetes is not the end of the world. Jay has been taking medication from 2002. You can bring it to the ashram. These are things pharmaceutical companies, they're the biggest mafias. I've got 2 doctors here, Dr. Singh and there's doctor in the back there. Pharmaceutical companies are the biggest mafias in the world. 50 years ago, people still had sugar, but there were no medication, and people still survived and lived. All right. So, Jay Bhai, how much money you would have spent on your tablets? If we have to calculate. Yeah. Just go to Khatija's house down there. There's mango leaves. It's for free. I don't think anyone charges for mango leaves. And start the mango leaves. Do what I'm doing, and you'll see the benefit. Okay? Any more questions? So this is our satsang. We've been practical. And we've been scientific. And you need to note that this universe has been created through science. Yes or no? Is this universe created through science or through divinity? What's it created through? Science. Purely science. And the greatest scientist should be the creator himself. Yes? It has been scientifically created. The creator is the greatest scientist himself. In Sanatana Dharma we call him Narayan. Narayan is a Sanskrit word, and if you translate from Sanskrit to English, then Narayan simply means the source and goal of all living entity. Narayan means source and goal of all living entity. It's not a name. It's not a name. And don't you think the greatest scientist should be the source and goal of all living entities? So go and enjoy your night tonight. I gave you all some nice recipes. If you are sober, your conscience will resonate with the recipes I gave you. But if you're not sober, who cares? After one beer, what that guru knows. After 2 beers, hell with that guru. Aware? After a bottle of scotch, what the guru thinks he is. You know? So I'm wishing you a prosperous 2024. Start with a bang. Don't make a whole lot of what you call that, Amita? Resolutions. 3 resolutions the most, and not hard resolutions. Simple resolutions. Find 3 simple, manageable resolutions and keep to that. The bigger things will fall into place if you are consistent with the small resolutions. Alright? Because what people do, especially drinkers and smokers, say, I'm going to quit smoking on the 1st of January. I'm going to quit drinking on the 1st of January. I'm going to quit eating meat on the 1st of January. These are very tall orders. These are tall orders. Take on smaller ones. I'm going to be less angry this year. I'm going to be less angry this year. I'm going to respect my parents this year. I'm going to respect my parents this year no matter what they say or what they do. Small things, what's manageable. Alright? I'm going to drink less this year, Avir. And less hard-cooked chicken. Any questions? As you do in your arti, remember we do arti not to glorify the Guru, not to make the Guru great. The Guru has energy that's flowing from the top of his head down to his feet. Everyone has energy, but the Guru has Suddha Sattva energy, and when you bow down to the feet of the Guru, number one, you humbling yourself, but the main reason you bow down to the feet of the Guru is to get into the circuit of that positive energy. You get into the circuit of the positive energy because gravity continues to pull the Guru's energy and your energy downwards. Yes or no? Doctors, yes or no? So the Guru is in Suddha Sattva. Suddha Sattva means in a state all the Guru's cells are vibrating positively, and it's down, it's flowing downwards, and when you come down and when you touch the Guru's feet, you came into direct contact with the circuit of positive energy, and this energy enters your stream, and your cells now take in this positive energy. And when you do an arti for Guruji, for the Guru, Guru is not God. Guru is not God. But when you do in your arti, you have arrested your mind. You have arrested your mind for that moment. You won't be able to remember anything. And only when your mind is arrested can spirituality flow into your system. As long as your mind is oscillating, it prohibits the flow of spiritual energy in your system. So these are scientific reasons why we do this. Everyone need not do this. Whoever wants to do Aarti, it's no gun on your head to do it. I say this as often as I'd like to, especially if there's some new people. So when you do your Aarti, these are the reasons you do Aarti. So you start, you see the Guru got his separate Aarti lamp and God got his separate Aarti lamp. So when you do your Aarti for your Guru, you take in energy. When you do Aarti for the Lord, you receive the Lord's grace. All of you understand? Jai Sriman Narayan.